That was Afreeca versus T1 game number 2. Afreeca evened out the series by picking up a win in game number 2. They opened Ornn and figured out what was the counter pick into that champion. Well, there is not much case where we can criticize T1, but today, especially game number 2, was the case. Afreeca was really good at preparing the draft against T1. And in game also, they were really putting a lot of pressure in jungle. T1 had no chance to kind of come back in game. We are seeing a lot of Sylas into Ornn. This is one of the common cases right now so far. And also Afreeca had a bit of a hard time, rotating to the bot side. But this time around, Dread coming in for a substitute player was able to kind of do much work around the bot side. So let's see how the game went in the early phase. T1 was really good at defending this play from Dread. So Dread was spotted by Rek'Sai here. But he was still waiting for that counter jungle in the Raptor camp. Zoe had a lot of wave coming in, but he picked up that redemption, so he was able to clear out the wave. So as soon as Dread found out that there could be a possible backup from Faker, he just backed. So T1 actually lost that opportunity to just go collapse onto Dread, but they just let him walk away. Maybe they could have been a little bit more proactive or aggressive. They could at least pop a flash out of Elise. However, even though Dread was going in for a very risky play, T1 did not try to punish it. They were way too passive or trying to stick to a consistent performance. Rek'Sai with red buff in level 3 versus Rek'Sai. Elise, actually, Elise got the losing trade, however, because it was a little bit too defensive. And T1 did not pick up any Scuttle Crab throughout 20-minute mark of the game. Everything started off from that level 3 counter jungling play coming out of Dread. Moving on, Afreeca was back to their form. This point of the game, also T1 made a very good defensive play, but Effort made a huge mistake. It was actually really critical. His flash was down, but there was no reason for him to stay over there or go in for a play. Faker was even backing, so there was nothing that he could accomplish after that play, but Effort kind of committed in for that hook and ended up dying. And there was a control ward behind the Dragon's Pit, so they could see, Afreeca could see that T1, Faker was going back for the mid lane. So Afreeca had all the information, so maybe T1 was a little bit emotional going in for that play. At that point, well, Afreeca players were able to snowball throughout the bot lane. Well, they could, maybe Effort was trying to pop the Fate Call out of Kalista, but still, there was no big point for T1 to earn after that play. And after this point, the gap started to accelerate. After losing 2 opportunities, T1 was not able to reach out. At this point, Cuz was focusing on Keen of potential flank angles, so T1 did not have much information to fight into this team fight. And also Sylas was having a very good game, stealing or hijacking all the ultimates, which was really contributing a lot during team fights. So with a consecutive team fight win, Afreeca was able to close out the game. And the player of the game for game number 2 would be Elise, Dread. Dread never died once throughout game number 2. And even though Afreeca went to back-to-back Elise pick, this time around it was on Dread, and he was really good at piloting this champion. Surprisingly, this is his first POG in the split, and this Elise card really fits and connects with Dread really well because Dread is such a very aggressive player in LCK. Maybe Afreeca have to stick to this play style. They always have to kind of go in for playmaking rather than just staying defensively and looking for a turn around in late game. Even though Faker picked up the 2,000 kills in the LCK, T1 could not get a win, so let's check out what will happen in game number 3, the deciding one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much once again for the translation there, G-Sun of the analyst desk. Dread, congratulations on the player of the game, his first one so far of the season. As we move into game number 3, let's see whether it's going to be this gentleman on your screen able to carry things through. A 4-1 performance on the Zoe, but honestly it wasn't the Zoe performance of dominance that we sometimes see from the champion. It was a lot of things going wrong for T1, and it looked like they were not anywhere near the level of coordination that they were in game number 1.
Yeah, and we'll see what this final draft is going to have in store for them. I don't think that game number 2 was a bad draft by any means for T1. I mean, hell, they got Orb, and it was just the early game jungle kingdom proved to be really problematic, and I think it really starts with that Wraith invade or the Raptor camp, cuz just not seemingly knowing what he wanted to do. Then he got double scuttle crabbed, he got map hacked basically.
Yeah. It was a brilliant performance out of Dread. But he was consistently invading, like every side of the jungle. He was just dominating. As let's see what the bans are going to be as the Elise Respect ban does come in from T1. Aphelios banned on the blue side as Kalista taken away as well. Not wanting to empower Jelly as much as Mystic was able to in game number 1. As you can see, Fly with a rare smile on his face earlier on there. Does go back to business, as you see there on your screen. Let's see what the final ban is going to be. Only a couple of seconds to go. As Karma taken off the board.
Karma getting banned away is another neutralizing potential pick. T1 banning the Kalista is also a show of respect.
Yeah. Looks like it should be an on final ban here from T1. And then the set first pick, I guess, is somewhat protected by the Karma ban that does come in.
Now, this is patch 10.4, so Janna is able to go top lane and do the roaming spell thief champion. Yep. Now, Senna getting banned and Ornn being given away is just so surprising.
Very odd, as it does leave Set available, the triple flex, as we know. But I don't think Set necessarily flexes as well without the augmentation of the Kalista. That is so strong. Of course, works with Senna also.
The thing that's so bizarre about the Ornn and the Set thing is I feel like you could pull a extremely large amount of pro players into a room, and if you ask the question that if in a blind scenario, what would you rather have inside of a draft, Ornn or Set? I think
too many would say Set.
What?
Too many.
I'm pretty sure most people would say Ornn.
I mean, yes, of course, you should. But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there would be too many people that would disagree.
Yeah.
And that feels wrong.
Ornn just way too strong. As Varus now being picked up.
Is it just going to be Varus Braum to make sure that we have the most comfortable Mystic possible? Because we know Mystic just loves laning with Braum.
And we're going to see.
I think Jarvan probably would be a phenomenal pickup here.
Yeah.
But Nautilus is being looked at least, for the moment.
Nautilus being picked up. T1 now. Are they just going to go for pure wombo combos
Well,
watch like a Rumble come in here.
Rumble or Azir could be picked up if Faker wants to show his hand a little bit early. Likely to be banned in the next phase. 8 seconds to go. Could be a support. As Gragas for Cuz. I love this. Should have picked it in game number 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what Rek'Sai achieves
Gragas
that
has
Gragas
been
can't.
falling a little out of flavor in a very bizarre way.
I mean, there's no reason for him to, right?
Yeah,
He's
there's
still
absolutely
good.
no reason. He's so fantastic. Still does so many things good. He's probably just not very fun to play. As weird as that sounds.
That might be it. I mean,
This
Cuz
happens
always
a lot
looks
in
like he's
competitive.
having fun, though.
This does happen a lot in competitive. Olaf getting banned away for the vacuum matchup against the Gragas, as well as I suppose the resistance against Set.
Yep, Taric going to be taken off the board here, as I'd like to see either a Yasuo or a Braum ban or something like that in from Afreeca Freecs as their final one. Because T1 could go for the Gragas Yasuo combo that they love so much. Of course, Cuz being a huge proponent of it when he was playing alongside Neon in Dragon X of old, as Jarvan going to be taken off the board. A pick that we were half expecting Afreeca to lock away as Azir is taken here.
Azir banned away. T1 can just choose their support here. Honestly, Morgana is not bad at all. It's so good against Chains of Corruption, or Tendrils of Corruption?
Chains of Corruption.
Okay, nice.
Well, Braum comes in, and I actually don't mind Yasuo as a last pick for T1 if they'd like to go for it. The double walls are very powerful against especially the Ornn. In fact, all of these champions so far have a really rough time dealing with the Wind Wall and the Unbreakable. Although I guess Nautilus doesn't really care too much about it. We shall
We'll
see.
What Afreeca's last picks are going to be here. Will they just coin flip and lock in the Elise or something again? But no, it looks like it's going to be a Lee Sin being hovered.
Waiting the maximum time, as you can see.
It's already timed out. And Akali.
Keen back to it once again. That will put Fly on the Ornn. The resident Ornn player for Afreeca Freecs is, of course, Fly. It's Faker thinking about the Rise. A lot of gank potential in the mid lane. With the Rise there, especially against the Ornn that is pretty melee.
Cassiopeia is also fantastic in a spot like this. Even Vigar is so strong.
I want Yasuo so bad.
Gangplank.
Whoa,
Not bad at all. Gangplank annihilates Akali. Gangplank also able to go toe-to-toe with Ornn.
Yeah, so it means despite what flexibility there's going to be in this this draft, doesn't really matter. Of course, Faker loves playing these melee bruisers in the mid lane. He was the guy that notoriously picked Darius mid lane a while ago now. But T1 will now allow Cuz to do a hell of a lot of damage because Afreeca are incentivized to build so much armor.
Yeah.
And so things like the Cannon Barrage and, of course, Cuz's damage in a team fight are going to just do so much work.
It's really nice to see the Gangplank coming in on R5. Now, what they're probably thinking about is they're going to try to locate Set early on and then send the Akali to go up against Set. It's, I think, historically his worst matchup that he can possibly have.
Yep.
Now, obviously, Akali, she has had her kneecaps sort of busted up a bit in her current form, but this team composition from Afreeca has a clear identity. It has a clear path with what it wants to do. Spikes in the mid game, has some late game insurance, but the Gangplank, massive value. You said it as well. The Gragas is going to be able to deal true damage if he wants it against most of the targets on Afreeca. Cannon Barrage also going to get so much value. So a very well-rounded team comp again by T1.
And I like the pirate duo of the Gangplank and the Misfortune. It's just so much AoE damage and CC in an area.
Do you know Misfortune's name?
Oh, dang it, I don't remember. I did at one point know her name, but
I think
don't
it's
know.
Sarah.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Yeah, Sarah.
It is Sarah. Do you know? So Gangplank died. You know that,
that's a
right? And then he
shame.
came back, right? Isn't that part of his lore?
Is that Captain Jack Sparrow's lore as well?
No, I'm not sure. But
I mean, that was
the
Pirates of the Caribbean
Undertaker
lore. Yeah.
in WWE, I believe his first wife, or maybe current wife, is named Sarah.
Whoa. So we're saying that...
Some similarities going on here.
So the synergy between our solo laners on T1's side are definitely there. Is that what you're saying?
That's what that is.
Because Set is 100% a wrestler.
You do seem to be picking up what I'm putting down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always picking up.
And we do have a Yokozuna in this game as well. Gragas.
Okay.
I believe Yokozuna is the title awarded to, like, the Grand Sumo wrestler, right? Like the top one?
So I have a friend of mine, Tom, who's just obsessed with sumo wrestling, right? And we were out one day at a bar, and he like spoke to me about sumo wrestling for actually like an hour and a half, and I picked up no information because I just wasn't all that interested. But he was very excited. I can put you in touch if you want to have a sumo wrestling combo.
Okay. I actually just watched a documentary on sumo wrestlers like a week and a half ago, randomly at night while in bed. Yeah, it was.
All
the
I know
weirdest
is that they eat a hell of a lot. It's like super
Yes,
impressive the amount of
because
food that they eat.
Sumo wrestlers were not always actually big. They used to be standard size, just very muscular, etc. But because of a rule or something, there's no weight limit.
Ah, so it's harder to move out of a ring if you're really, really heavy.
Yes, you're incentivized to sort of be heavy.
And there is only so much muscle that a frame can actually contain. That's due to a hormone that often... So the strongest man in the world has a deficiency of a certain hormone that allows him to have more muscles on his body.
Okay.
That's how that works. Not
All right.
necessarily just for men either.
Whoa!
As Dread gonna once
Very
again
clean.
straight back on this this stealing train in the jungle. Cuz just missing out on so many of his camps. He's being bullied by the young jungler of Afreeca.
Well, Dread is, I mean, he's starting some stuff off.
And yeah, so Faker is
Okay.
over 300 kills in the lead.
Prey is it? Okay, Deft is just being robbed, by the way. I just want to point that out there.
I mean, I think Deft
I
has
know this is
1,000
only an
kills in
LCK.
both LCK and LPL.
Yeah.
So Deft has a lot of kills as well.
I wonder who has the most globally.
Well, yeah, this is the interesting thing, right? Like, I wanted to talk to you about it in the last game, but we just didn't know where we could possibly find the stat. Someone, please tweet it at us if you know what the stat might be. I know we've got some stat gods and goddesses out there.
Bang is third,
Yes.
and he hasn't been here for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been quite a bit.
Well, remember T1 were also, like, they had a team that basically just played around only Bang for a really long time, so Bang was funneled a lot of the kills, which would make a lot of sense. And being on the most winning team of League of Legends history is certainly a good way to rack up a whole bunch of kills.
Anyways, so far what's happening in this game, Set doing pretty set things here against Ornn in mid lane.
Nice max range facebreaker there as well, as Dread looking for a gank top lane. We'll be able to find Canna here as he flashes, but I don't know whether he's going to be alive. And yep, First Blood is going to go over to Dread, and he survives underneath the turret as well. No amount of flashes or oranges will do it here for the gangplank.
And Dread is really just setting the pace in game number 2 and now in game number 1 as well, as Cuz very indecisive.
Oh, there's the flash body slam as Mystic flashes out of the way as well. Teddy down to about 100. The Ignite is on. And remember, he's got Cleanse and didn't use it in time to utilize it for getting out of the Ignite as well.
Really so bizarre though, Effort not using the exhaust at all.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire trade.
An odd maneuver. Maybe expecting some sort of extended follow-up or something like that. Doesn't actually get there.
Faker up currently about 10 CS, as we assume that Fly will get those 3 minions.
Yep.
Or maybe he's not. He's still stuck at 27. 28 now. Kana has absolutely played his laning phase wrong on the Gangplank. I just want to point that out.
I think it's not going to come as a surprise to too many, as
Gangplank's really hard.
is slaughtering him.
Yes.
And facebreaker there from Faker. Did have Cuz waiting in the wings.
This should never looked like this.
Well, I mean, the
Gangplank
CS is just a disaster.
One of the champions that he's so hard to really stand out on, but when you really know what you're doing on him, there are certain matchups that are just unplayable.
Yeah.
For the enemy champion. Akali is one of them, but the way that Kana played wave 1, 2, 3, 4 heavily dictates the pace of the matchup and just misplay all around by him, and as a byproduct of that, Akali's allowed to be in a state that she shouldn't be. Exhaust never comes down. You can see the indecisiveness by Cuz. Tries to add some value there, but they end up losing out in the trade in bottom, and Afreeca is just sitting pretty with the exception of Faker in mid lane. Dread trying to come in, and he is sinning, man.
Yeah,
he has 6 camps. Level 4. Cuz is, I think, about to ding level 6 soon.
Not able to find nearly enough value on the Lee Sin. The first blood was good, but you need to follow that up by actually killing some of your jungle. As you can see, Fly moving towards his bottom side. The red buff is going to be respawning very soon, as Canna is continuing to struggle a lot here in this lane. He's missing a couple of this CS.
Yeah, Cuz is 1 camp away from level 6. Dread just dinged 5 off the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
So, had the Gangplank not died, had he been playing the lane correctly, Akali is never able to even offer gank assistance if Lee were to path top. And this game could just be a complete nightmare for Afreeca right now. But they're getting a lot of aid from the top lane right now, where this Akali, for reasons unknown, is ahead of the Gangplank, who also bought 2 control wards.
Well, Effort in trouble here, actually taking a fair bit of damage. Cannon Barrage will come down. Jelly going to get exhausted. This is what they were saving it for, as Teddy grabs the kill. Hail of Arrow, sorry, is going to come down as Mystic will survive for the moment as Dread comes in, tries to lock down that kill. Mystic will pick up credit, and Teddy should go down here as well. There's the last auto, and Dread grabs his second.
And Dread really helped turning all of this around.
I don't know what Dread had for breakfast, but I want some. It looks like it's really fired him up for this series. Certainly not spending a lot of time farming, but having a great time otherwise.
And honestly, if you're Cuz right now, or even a viewer, it might feel like jungle difference, but realistically, the laners are botching things pretty consistently. He said, I'm going. I can get her. I got her.
As you see, Mystic is just farming minions. He knows that Dread has that kill on lockdown. Good to see Faker now 20 CS in the lead, but Canna is approaching 30 CS behind. We got 5 camp advantage for Cuz. It feels like it doesn't even really matter.
Well,
okay.
Here comes a Ornal, and Dread wants to latch on the back with W.
Haymaker comes down, Faker's gonna flash, Ignite comes in. As Fly will have that teleport back very soon. Has himself the unsealed spellbook here, which is the mid lane on staple.
I want to see the replay of that one more time, because Set with the superplex and flash, potentially able to drag someone in to turret range. But obviously, it is a pretty panicked moment.
Yep. Mystic surviving in that last battle as well does mean that he does have about a 2-wave advantage here towards bottom side, as Teddy can't avoid the piercing arrow. But underneath the turret should be absolutely fine. Bilgewater Cutlass done. Getting towards the Blade of the Ruin King is Mystic, wanting that 2-item power spike, much like Teddy does in this game, as Dread's just going to start off this Infernal Drake. We'll see which soul we have for ourselves here this game, as Teddy might be able to blast cone his way in here, as Faker, Cuz, and Teddy are all converging. Dread in the back of the pit is just going to safeguard his way over, and we'll see whether T1 use this as a bit of a leash. Teleport
Getting
to try and get the order here. Yeah, and exactly right. Cuz is going to be able to take that one away, but there is the Chains of Corruption. Great dredge line to land as well, but the bullet time is gigantic. 2 kills already in an instant from T1, and Faker wants even more. The heal comes down. There's the Haymaker, and Faker doesn't have a lot of regen left available, but the body slam will stop Fly from getting any further forward. He doesn't have the Ornhorn available.
Kana has his ult this entire time. What?
Yep. But he's laning against Keen, and he wants to have that so he doesn't get dove, I guess. Because he's like close to being doubled in his CS.
He is. This might actually be the worst Gangplank laning phase that I've seen, even including Worlds, where Gangplank started getting played. So, okay, Gangplank doesn't have his ultimate just yet inside of this replay, although that could be the replay bug. Bullet time comes out, and Dread actually kicking effort to safety. Faker going in on Mystic here, uses the Haymaker. Gangplank ult is up right now. It could be cast, slowing Fly.
Yeah.
They would have been able to get onto him.
They could have slowed both Fly and Mystic, actually. But not going to be able to get anything done here, as Canna will be making extra money, I guess, off the parlay, but it's really not looking good for the Gangplank top lane. 200 gold, 100 going to be the lead for Afreeca, so no worries yet for T1. But if this Akali gets too out of control, we saw just Keen is able to make Teddy a non-factor in this game. We know that T1 generally relies on Teddy to perform, although they haven't so much this series. It hasn't been a Teddy carry series so far.
The fact that the gold score is as close as it is when the Akali is almost doubling the CS of the Gangplank is truly impressive.
Yeah.
So, every lane doing pretty good for T1. Lee Sin, having sinned a lot early on, finds himself with a level discrepancy.
Yep.
Against Cuz.
And Cuz is building towards his Oblivion Orb next and will be doing a heck of a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Towards this Afreeca roster. Anyone on this squad is going to be taking so much, as Teddy will take 2 plates. Or 1 plate. Faker gets another one. Haymaker comes down. Fly gets the knock up though, as now they're looking for Cuz. Cuz gonna have to flash to get himself out of there, as Faker's gonna use his ult to get himself to safety. No flash available, and Faker will go down. Kickback onto Cuz to stop him from getting any follow-up. And T1 lose their man in the mid lane. 0, 1, and 1 now for Faker. Not getting towards the 2002 kills just yet. Still sitting on 2001, a kill odyssey.
Well, Cloud Drake coming up in a minute and a half, and we're getting our wishes granted here.
Yeah.
As this is definitely a bit surprising.
But this is the Keen that we've wanted to see for
Yes.
a really long time. The
Keen
Keen that is just a destroyer of top lanes.
It's been having a really good series tonight so far, as the gold score is only 800. Dread is actually summoning the Herald immediately to crash it up into top lane. Now, I don't know, is he going to take the right or the left? Let's take a look.
We'll see where Shelly decides to go. Yeah, she's a left mover.
Yep.
As Canna wanted to avoid her from wanted to avoid her doing too much damage there, but doesn't pick up her aggro. And that's a whole bunch of plates taken by the already overly accelerated Akali.
It doesn't actually get the 4th turret plate. And this was Faker just trying to shove in a wave. He felt comfortable knowing that Cuz was on, right behind him. But Jelly able to come in there as well, helps out.
Combos him to death. Afreeca having so much vision control towards that bottom side is definitely fantastic for them.
I don't know what Faker's building. He might be building Black Cleaver, which
I think he is.
You already know my thoughts on that, but he also picked up a Ruby Crystal.
Maybe a Durham's Fist to come in alongside it. Steric's Gauge is often an option, but also Titanic Hydra could be purchased. We'll see. Don't know what he's quite thinking at this particular point in time. Might be wanting to transition into Trinity Force and is going to build a Warmogs or something. There's some options.
All right. We shall see what happens. Now, this is fortunately a dragon that T1 can just forego.
Yep, they don't
They
need to worry about
don't
it.
need to get it. It's completely fine.
And then Triple Ocean or Triple Mountain would be brilliant
Yes.
for this T1 squad. but they may want to accelerate the dragons and take them all for themselves so that they can get a Dragon Soul as quickly as possible before too many ornaments make their way onto the river. Not going to be the case. As we can see, Dread going to lock down that dragon, and it's going to be a Mountain Soul this game. If Afreeca lock down 3 mountains in a row, I think it's impossible for T1 to actually do anything this game. They already have the Ornn, and the Nautilus will be buffed so much with the inevitable Gargoyle Stoneplate that he will pick up. That is so many resistances.
Yes.
For the Nautilus, and the Ornn needs no introduction on that part.
It's a super important dragon to end up denying.
But it will work out well for T1 also.
Yeah.
Set will very much like it.
So Ornn right now, he has 149 armor. This is before the ornament upgrade is going to end up coming in.
God, Keen is just so big this game. Him and Mystic farming out very, very well. Certainly on with the clock at this point in time.
Black Cleaver is picked up by Set. So if he fully stacks it on Ornn, he ends up getting 35 pen at this current point in time.
Uh-huh.
So he reduces 35 of Ornn's armor. So basically a little less than the 2 premier lethality items.
Got it. Okay. It's not super great. This Kuz is going to get found in his jungle, and he's just dead. Keen locks down that kill very easily with the first portion of the ultimate. And that was pretty perfect execution. Can't really deny that one. Faker now looking for Keen, as Winter's Bite is going to go wide. Shuriken backflip, pretty good ability. And Mystic's going to be taking down the bottom outer turret. What happened to T1 after game 1?
I'm not really sure, especially because they found a very successful Infernal Dragon fight, and they failed to get as much value as they possibly could out of it, but obviously Kana falling apart here. This is not how Gangplank Akali should ever look.
Yeah, this makes Akali look like a counter.
So if I could just change 2 of the champions' names to put it into perspective, I'll do it right after this replay, as it's looking like Jungle Gap right about now.
Whoa.
In this game. But
that looked like Kuz wasn't allowed to play League of Legends.
Imagine that Akali is Garen and Gangplank is Teemo or something, and this is the kind of discrepancy. It's not what should be happening.
No, absolutely not. Although, I mean, I've seen Garen's beat Teemos before.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Sometimes you're just better. It's Canna. He's not at this point in time. 50 CS is still the gap, so at least it's not getting bigger. But as you can see, Afreeca, they own this map. There's no river rams because T1 will not be allowed near the river. Sort of that game of King of the River. Unable to be won by T1 right now. Is Effort going to face check?
So the Gangplank being as far behind as he is, as well as the itemization that he has, he's not going to be relevant until the later stages. And so even though this is a team composition that does have a lot of scaling inside it, and Gragas is able to deal near true damage to some of the targets on the side of Afreeca, things are just really looking so rough.
Yeah, and also Kuz hasn't been able to get the early game that's allowed him to really flex his muscles on his famous Gragas pick. Remember, this is a guy that sort of surpassed Score as our best Gragas player in the LCK last year. He was so impressive. Has had some brilliant games. Picked up player of the game this year on the pickup as well. But this is not demonstrating that. Something went wrong in the T1 camp, and they haven't been able to recover so far. As Teddy will be able to take this red buff. They need a reset. They need to figure themselves out. As Afreeca have found their stride, feel like finally the double kid buff is locked down for Mystic. He's had a great series so far. Game 2 especially, but even in Game 1, he was out laning Teddy in Effort pretty consistently.
Yes.
Not that it really mattered, as the rest of T1 played so extraordinarily well, and they navigated the late game very effectively. Just hasn't been able to be replicated here today. As Effort not even allowed to clear out vision in his own jungle, and this blue buff will be secured by Afreeca very easily.
And it's really looking like this Mountain Dragon is going to go the way of Afreeca, and if that happens, it's really just starting to spell The beginning of the end. Sakali up 2 levels on the Gangplank. Not sure how many grass procs Kana has.
He may not have been able to hit her too many times. As you may imagine, as Fly not going to be able to find the boulder there onto Effort. They haven't started the Mountain Drake yet, but it has just spawned. This is looking so dicey. I know it's only 2,000 gold, so it is relatively close still, but Dread has been caught out of position. Great explosive cast, but Dread flashes to safety. Faker still looking for more, though, as Fly has been separated from the rest of the team. Keen was looking for a back timing, trying to get those home guards to get into this fight. Not going to be doing it just yet.
And it looks like what Keen wants to do right now is lock up the Gangplank from being able to join her. He wants to guarantee that there's a crashed wave so that when Keen goes over... Oh, no, actually...
Well, I mean...
Gonna let...
Kana will never be able to stop Keen from teleporting anywhere, so it doesn't actually matter too much.
The wave is now pushing back into Afreeca, so if they win this team fight, the top lane is going to be so beneficial for them. As Gangplank, you can see, is running over. Morella Namicon picked up by Keen as well.
There's the on-horn. Teleport available, but Fly's going to go down very low. There's the bullet time. Flash is going to get them out of there as Faker has already died. Keen launched his way into the backline, but now getting out of this into the stopwatch now as well as Effort gets on over, but there's the perfect execution, and Keen gets himself out of there. Dread should be able to lock down this first Mountain Drake as well, but Teddy gets one. Can he get another? Looks like he will. Yes, double kill for the Misfortune. Finally, Teddy turning up to this series. They're unable to grab the Mountain Drake away from Afreeca, which is going to be so good for them, but Teddy looking alive is certainly a good thing here for T1.
And now they're going to look to raise the... No, they're not. They're actually just going to back off. They're going to value the tempo more than just getting that 500 gold. And honestly, it's a pretty good decision. 500 gold not going to win them the game here. As Faker, he gets pulverized.
He does, but does do a lot of damage to Afreeca.
Yep. Keen eventually gets over the walls, over the wall, uses the flash and perfect execution, ends up getting away. As Mystic, he is on the wrong side. Gets body slammed by Cuz. Effort and Teddy help in bringing him down, and so couple of kills go the way of T1. The gold score is really close, but it is a Ornn with a Mountain Drake. And also, other champions are going to start building resistances. You're going to have Nakali building Zanya's Hourglass.
Yep.
You have a Varus that is getting naturally tankier. Varus going to have Might of the Ruined King soon, probably via Fly. We'll see actually if Obsidian Cleaver is gifted over first.
I like Blade of the Repaired King.
But the Ruined King is the title.
No, so if it's ruined, if
no,
it gets
the blade's
upgraded,
not ruined. The king is ruined.
Yeah, but you understand what I mean.
No, I don't. There's no comma.
There isn't? Oh, God. Disaster.
There's a Kana, though.
Almost like watching Mystic miss that cannon creep. Sorry, watching Teddy miss that cannon creep. Not good news. Teddy's got a gigantic gold bounty, though. This is his game to win for T1 if they're going to do it. The gold within 1,000 at this point. Tanner is trying to scale. He has the more of Malmortius now completed. As you just like using the correct ornament names.
What?
And I like playing with the ornament names.
I always like to try to say everything correctly.
Yeah, I know you do.
You know, I really stress that.
That's what you're known for. Definitely champion names being king among those.
Especially.
T1 might find themselves a gold lead here, as this tower does go down. Not close to it, though. As you can see, Kana moving towards red buff. Fly looking to clear out some control ward vision. As Baron spawned about 4.5 minutes ago, and Cuz has completed the Forbidden Book. What tales it tells are yet to be found out. Because it's looking a little bit rough. As Afreeca, they have the Ornn. So easy to know who scales better these days. Because you look at a comp and you're like, does it have Ornn? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, there we go. Scales better. Nailed it.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
How many Drakes do they have? Oh, they got 2 Drakes. The opponent has 1. One of them's a Mountain Drake. Oh, cool. Looks like they scale better. It used to be a little bit difficult.
Dead Man's Plate picked up, by the way, on Faker. Maul of Malmortius also picked up by Kana. He's had that for a little while.
Yep. Teddy has his QSS done, so double cleanse now available for the Misfortune. Likelihood of extended DPS going to be much higher here. Certainly good news. You're right, that Might of the Ruin King is going to be very close. Obsidian Cleaver, very close. The Zhonya's upgrade going to be very close as well.
Zhonya's Paradox.
Yeah, I know. It just. How does Paradox necessarily mean better than an Hourglass? Because a Paradox is actually just.
Because maybe it means
confusing.
that it never ends or starts.
Whoa.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
I mean, that is what a Paradox is, I guess. Paradox is like a contradiction.
And
right?
Luden's Pulse.
Yeah, Luden's Pulse is
So there's
fine.
the Echo, and then there's the Pulse.
And the Iceborne Gauntlet is actually
So it
Frozen
sounds
Fist,
like
which
he's
is
getting
super good.
closer.
Ah.
So maybe there's another upgrade that can come out later.
Whoa.
Just called Luden.
Okay, just called Luden. Who was
Born
probably
actually,
also one of the
he gets
summoners
reborn.
that had a name.
Oh,
named
that
after
might be true, yeah.
Sorry, had an item named after him. Didn't have a name. You can't have a name named after someone.
That is.
That doesn't really make sense. That's a bit of a paradox setting.
What do you you can have a name named after someone. That's what people do. Well, that's what a
You can have-
junior is.
No, you can have a person named after something, but you can't have a name named after something. It's like it's, you know, it doesn't quite work.
That's is that a paradox?
Because something has a name, right?
And
You know, the name represents a thing. That's, my brain's actually breaking. So T1 have started off the Mountain Drake. Let's go back to the gosh darn video game, please. There's Afreeca. I need a break. Can I have a couple of weeks?
yeah.
Oh, as it turns out, yes I can. There's Faker looking to come in, does get the superplex into the back line, trying to pick off the Gargoyle Stoneplate Jelly as there's a bullet time going into Narnia. Jelly's going to survive as Keen gets into the back line, but now the Shuriken back line. Oh god, the body slam! So beautiful, and Fly not going to be able to get the layering of CC that he was looking for because Keen throws his life away with a beautiful outplay by Cuz. And now T1 should be able to get the Mountain Drake that they were looking for. This could be the moment that T1 turn it all around.
And at this point,
Cuz literally just saved the game right
Yeah.
there. That was so sexy.
and was that a 1,000 gold shutdown?
Oh, might have
On
been.
a Kali? And did it go over to Teddy? I think I saw the number 1,000.
Well, I mean, Teddy now has a 700 gold bounty, so he's a big boy. As Jelly gets himself the Aftershock, but look at this. T1 will take down the turret as well. What a huge swing in power level here as T1 go up about 2,000 gold. But remember, the ornaments are starting to stack up as we look at this fight yet again.
Well, let's take a look at this one. Keen on the right-hand side.
Watch, Cuz.
Passing.
Oh, no, you don't.
Yep. And then block. Okay, it was 500.
Yeah,
That's
500.
not 1,000. Yeah,
that's a big
still
number.
a massive number going over to Misfortune. Fly immediately falls after that one. And Mountain Drake, that is a very big stabilizing part of this game now for T1. They do have champions that build resistances, so it's not like it's all for naught.
Oh no, this is fantastic. And you can have Hourglass coming in for Cuz relatively soon. Looks like he wants to get himself a Death Cap as his next item. So this Gragas is going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. And in a game where he's the only source of magic damage, his opponent isn't incentivized to build magic resist.
Yeah, and we've seen
much like the Karthus tactic.
Yes.
You know?
It's very difficult for the enemy team to want to build any sort of MR. And you can see that I think Fly is actually building it anyway. I think he wants to go Abyssal Mask, and that'll help out Varus himself and Akali, as well as Nautilus.
Yeah, Varus does do mixed damage, of course. As, yep, everyone able to do at least a little bit of magic damage, apart from the Lee Sin.
That really sounds like the Varus auto attack sound.
Yeah, what was the Varus auto attack sound? What does it sound like?
I don't know. I have it on the tip of my tongue.
Okay. Sounds a little bit sometimes like a Teemo dart. It's a little bit scary.
It does sound like it sounds like a blow dart, but I don't know what specific name.
Well, Ken has spent a couple of his doubloons so far. Only has one more upgrade to go. As once he gets all three of those upgrades, he's allowed to go to the ship.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what gets you into the ship.
And where does his ship take him?
Well, we'll have to find out.
Cannon A? Canada or NA? Which one?
You might, yeah. Either of those options depends how.
Maybe
this
his
is going to
name is
continue.
actually. Maybe it just means Tyler 1, Can NA.
Well, I mean, he can. He has his entire career.
I don't think that his name is lying to us, Atlas. I think that's very rude.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I don't know why stating the obvious is a thing that you'd want to do with a name as a Korean player referencing a North American streamer, but that's fine. It's neither here nor there. Maybe that's what you want. As Keen is going to have his Zhonya's Paradox upgraded. And Runan's Hurricane now completed for Mystic, doing a lot of AoE damage close range in these team fights. As QSS is also done. Yeah, we are.
And so we need to bring it to the POG state. Not the actual podcast.
All right.
That is on that's on a different service.
That is. You can catch that on any of your favorite podcast websites. And YouTube, of course, if you want to check out our editor Ian's fantastic video editing.
Yeah, you can watch that.
You can watch that. You can also listen to it. You could also do both.
I was trying to rhyme, and you really just broke.
I know. I bet you wanted to quote the.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
The marketing spiel, right?
I want to talk at you. So let's talk about the game.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We got to teleport.
No,
Maybe it's my turn to go. As Faker looking for the backline here, finds Fly. See whether the Superflex does come in, as he does put down and onto Fly, but Bellow's Breath is going to keep him in position. He dies before Randall can be utilized, as Faker with a massive face breaker, but he is going to be taken down. Bullet Time doesn't really get the joy that Teddy was looking for, and now Keen able to dart around the backline. Shuriken backflip as he doesn't follow, as Effort takes a lot of damage. And now, with the man advantage, Afreeca looking to try and do something with it around this Baron pit.
And this is a pretty scary moment right now. Fly has teleport available, Faker does not, Kana does. But what is going to end up happening? Varus, with all that lifesteal, is able to sort of tank this.
Yep, Dread's in there as well. Vision is there for T1. They know that this is happening. As there's the dredge line. It lands onto Cuz, but he just takes down the Gragas. Keen now into his Shroud as Dread taking a lot of damage. The kick back onto Teddy. Piercing Arrow is going to lock him down. And then all of that Varus damage will come in to secure the Braum as well. Only Cuz is left standing as the teleports are now flying through. And the Baron should go to Afreeca.
And you see the teleport, and it doesn't look like there's any pings from Afreeca that are acknowledging this.
Yeah, looks like the Baron is going to be traded for most likely this Mountain Drake that has just spawned.
And you know what? This isn't that bad of a trade. And the reason that I say that it's not that bad of a trade, Faker's getting to mid lane. He's going to clear out the minion wave. Gragas and Gangplank can go to bot lane, clear out that wave as well. There's not a top lane present. So the Baron...
They can deny Baron timing.
Yes, yeah. It's attacking Baron indirectly. We take a look at this replay here. Faker with the Superflex doesn't land the Facebreaker in an ideal way. They end up bringing down Fly, but once Keen joins the fray, things just start getting very ugly, very quick. As this is about misfortune and your two men right here.
Yep.
Trying to protect her.
The bodyguard's not quite keeping the princess safe at this point in time. As that flash, I don't know whether Jelly meant to land it like that, as the body slam and the dredge line both affected both of them. But Mystic able to do all of that consistent damage, and the finish-up kill is going to be there for Keen. Surprisingly, his first kill of the game, as the outer turret in the mid lane is going to be taken. And now T1 trying to defend.
Minute and a half only on the Baron, and honestly, Misfortune with the bullet time plus set. Gangplank as well with the barrels. Gragas when he's building pure AP.
Yep.
They have a lot of wave clear. They have their inner turret still alive. T1 should be able to bring this to Soul Point, and if they get it.
I mean, it is Soul Point right now, so 3.5 minutes, and then T1 get to fight for that very pivotal last Mountain Drake on the map. And honestly, I think it all comes down to this next dragon. As who's going to have an edge in this game. Already, I mean, Afreeca do have the Ornn. They still are in a great position. But the kills are neck and neck. The gold is still so extraordinarily close.
Yeah.
Still,
but remember,
I mean, larger in the lead for Afreeca because they do have the extra ornament stats.
The ornaments are the really scary thing here. As T1, I mean, they have the Infernal Dragon, but Set only has one physical damage item. Obviously, MF, Gangplank, And Gragas going to be able to make a lot of value out of that.
2 inner turrets to be taken down here as it's a 3,000 gold Baron power play. Still not able to break the base just yet. Faker looking for a back timing, does take down this cannon creep.
This is why I was saying I really like T1's decision to just go over to the mountain and prioritize that. So if you're looking at it from Afreeca's perspective, what was actually more important, the Baron or the mountain? The mountain.
Yeah, probably.
What should have been the higher priority. Not only because you have an Orin, you have so many champions that are building resistances, but also because that soul point would asphyxiate T1.
Well, we've used all of our pirate ultimates, and unfortunately, they look like the pirated versions of the ultimates, as they did not get the work done there for T1 that they wanted. Now, some long cooldowns to wait before they're available for the next minion waves. We really need to layer the cannon barrage and the bullet time. I don't think Teddy and Canna really have found the coordination just yet. Despite both having names with 5 letters and double letters in the 3rd and 4th position.
And, well, we're going to be waiting now a minute and a half as Gangplank. Honestly, I mean, have you ever considered how painful that must feel to have a keg just blown up right in front of you? But also, what kind of sorcery does Gangplank actually use in order to not feel any damage himself?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if he ever released a clothing line with whatever stuff he's wearing in order to not feel pain, I think that would actually sell very well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's... I mean, it depends on what skin he's in, right? Because sometimes he's a ghost, and of course that's going to keep him out of harm's way. I mean, I think that the... what is it? The Commando... Does he have a recon? Recon
yes,
Gangplank?
yes.
Where he's probably wearing Kevlar. That's probably going to keep him safe. Nutcracker is not going to be a human, and therefore probably doesn't feel pain. So that's fine. It's just regular Gangplank that we have a lot of question marks for, to be honest.
That is true.
When it comes to the pain feeling. But who knows? He might have a certain secret. And look, when it comes to pirates, I assume it's alcohol. So that's what I learned from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Alcohol is very flammable.
It is flammable, which is probably, it helps him light his barrels.
Ooh. Okay.
That's my theory anyway. I don't know whether it's correct. That's what I'm going to put down in my diary later when I'm rethinking.
You have a
this particular
diary?
Point. No, I don't. But if I did, that's where I would put it.
All right.
Yeah.
20 seconds until Mutant Dragon.
Mutant Dragon?
Yeah.
This is going to make the game moot? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that why it's called Mutant Dragon?
See, you always pick up on these things.
Look. Don't worry, you put it down. I'll
Yeah.
pick it back up. All right. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
As Fly and Dread just staying as a unit. The rest of T1 all moving around this area. Canna is trying to defend the mid lane minion wave that was shoved, and now Mystic going to start off this Dragon. Dread going to move on over. The 4-man unit of T1 do move in, but this Dragon is just taken. Not a chance for T1 to even get in there, and now the threat of the Mountain Soul is going to be there on both sides of the map.
We're in the Alps.
The Alps is so far up.
There's so many mountains.
The altitude of this game is so high.
Who is gonna summit Everest?
Yeah, well, that's what the Mountain Soul is going to be this game.
That actually is it. Who's gonna get
has to
Everest
be
this
Himalayan
game?
in some way. As if you get 5 of the Ocean Soul, that's Mariana Trench.
Oh, we're coming up with names
And
now, aren't
5 of the Cloud
Who's gonna
Drakes is full Fiesta. Because so many clowns.
know what that is.
There's so many clowns.
Yeah, sure.
It's it. We call it it. The greatest cloud of all.
Pennywise!
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, and what's the Infernal?
Pennywise Soul. And
The
so
sun?
Infernal has to be, yep, I
sun.
guess the sun would
Yeah,
work.
we'll go with the sun.
Yeah.
And Elder is Exodia.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's it. I still think that Pennywise is my favorite.
Yeah, it is.
Maximum Cloud Drakes.
He doesn't actually do anything if you're not afraid of it.
Yeah, I know, right? Actually, I wonder... I wish there had been in one of the 2 movies, or 3 movies, I guess, considering the original and then the remakes, as we might have a team fight that's going to break off my Thor. A bit unfortunate, as Gangplank's moving on over as well. T1 just clearing out vision for now. Baron's still available. We're still 10-9 in kill score. As, okay, we find a superplex into the backline. Fly is unable to find the Bellows Breath in time, as finally we've got the Pirate Ultimates layered. As Faker with his Gargoyle Stoneplate does come in, but in comes Randall. Can he get the knockback? The answer is no, as he's CC'd before anything can happen. Stand behind me, beside me, sorry, is there for effort, but we've got no kills. A lot of ultimates, but no kills.
We're in an indefinite lull state here because it is so thin.
And there's so many mountains.
There's so many mountains.
No one can breathe.
Everyone, okay, hold on. They got
comes back. Fly. He's a very tanky man. Great knock up there as Teddy still at full health. A gigantic shield also available. It's now Keen still looking for the backline. Keep your eye on that, Akali. It's a dredge line. Out of nowhere lands onto Kuz. The Sonic Wave connects but isn't actually completed, as now Afreeca with a man advantage. No jungler on T1's side. Look to start off this Baron, and they're not going to waste any time getting over here.
The kill score is 11-9, which in Korea is the 3-digit code for the emergency hotline. We are the LCK, literally can't kill. We got a team fight though.
We managed to kill one, as now T1's trying to find one back, but it's Mystic that grabs the first kill in the fight, and Teddy goes down also. Now Canna trying to fight against Keen, who he hasn't been able to all game, so we know exactly how that one goes. And a triple kill comes forward from Mystic. Afreeca have done what no one thought was possible, and they should win this game against T1.
And this is a major upset to end this night.
It's the double kid buff coming through from Mystic as well.
That's
Huge
it.
Congratulations are deserved for him for his second child, and have already proven to be a gigantic buff. You thought wife buff was strong from Doinby. What about wife double kid buff coming through from Mystic here to pull him out of his funk of the last few series? And there goes the Nexus. Afreeca will topple T1 and solidify the top 4 here in the LCK.
T1 getting upset here. Ilavuv coming out on stage, as well as a lot of the other players. Spirit coming over as well. Dread having a very impressive 2 games.
Yeah, so good to see Spirit in such high spirits, no pun intended, of course. And Dread and him having such a great relationship together. Just a brilliant performance. I think, I mean, who do you give player of the game to? I think Dread had a good early game, but didn't farm very much. I think Keen putting Gangplank in a gigantic hole is so impressive.
I'm giving it to Keen. I don't think he'll get it, but I'm giving it to him.
I mean, I'm giving it to him too, because like winning that counter matchup so hard is insane.
Right, he lane kingdomed the Gangplank. He was a reason that Gangplank was not present for the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
A champion that should have been able to dominate the lane, should have been able to have a massive early to mid-game transition, should have been able to be the strongest champ in the game in mid-game, and he was not allowed to come online, even itemized suboptimally, just to be able to survive. He got put in the grave, down 2 kills, or down 2
Mystic
levels.
also had a really good game.
Mystic did really good.
On the Varus, but didn't really do too much to stand out necessarily, and his Varus is just always critically good in most of his matches. Probably deserves some recognition for just how well he played over this entire 3-game series.
My order would be Keen, then Mystic, then Dread.
Yep.
And then
Jelly and then Fly? Or
yeah,
Fly and then Jelly?
Then Jelly, then Fly.
I mean, Fly did have a really good Bellows Breath to avoid the the showstopper into a backline that would have done a lot of damage to his opponent. So he had that one moment, but I don't think that's worth giving him the player of the game. Come back here. Yeah. Come back here.
You really saved it right there.
Well, we're going to be able to see exactly who picked up that player of the game, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to be after some highlights that we'll get onto your screen relatively soon. Just so sad, LS. This is the last.
This is it.
This is the last one for round 1 for me. Still 1 match to go. KT versus Griffin tomorrow. That huge one for all the marbles.
Yeah, and that's going to be the only match for tomorrow. So we're just having 1 match tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
then
that's
Valdez get to say goodbye for the next little while as we have a look at Dread's first gank here. As he came through and helped put Canna in a hole, as Keen had already done it relatively effectively by himself.
Yes.
This was really well played by Dread, actually, just on a mechanical level, micro-wise, to make sure they landed the Q perfectly. But ultimately, in the end, this bait from Mystic was actually super sick as well, as Flashes was on cooldown. He just walked away, and Dread was able to turn it. So maybe not a bait. I mean, he had to do that. But still, Dread in the right place at the right time.
Or an ultimate right here. Eventually, though, Jelly able to help lock up Faker. Really don't know who is going to get the player of the game.
Dread might pick it up again.
Yeah, he might.
But honestly, I think Keen getting interrupted here was so sick from Cuz, honestly. He wasn't even in vision.
Yeah.
But Cuz was waiting for it. So unfortunate for Keen that he got stopped so hard. But honestly, like being able to win the lane like he did, like as far as just consistent play, as that was the Bellows breath that I was referring to. As Keen teleports in, gets into the back line. Exhausted immediately, which is a little bit unfortunate there.
Well, we are just continuing to watch the highlights. Dread did do a lot.
He did a lot of work.
Mystic. So, I feel like we evaluate POG differently from the other voters at LCK, where I personally value the consistency of the player over the entire game.
And also you have to take into account what they were up against as
Right,
well, what they
right.
were able to achieve based on expectations. And honestly, Keen defied our expectations in the 1v1 matchup that he had on the top side of the map. We shall see exactly how that one is going to go, but to be honest, if it is Dread, I do not mind one iota, nor if it's Mystic, honestly. If he's able to pick this one up. I think it's going to be a relatively mixed pickup as far as the player of the game is concerned.
나 못 나오게 할게 이거 리신 와라. 바텀. 얘네 20초 남아. 오른 앞으로 와볼래 이거 못 나오게 하자 이거. 오케이. 클리어 할 거야. 궁으로 클리어 하려고 할 거야 이거. 막아. 다 맞아줄게 그냥. 오케이. 아래 타워. 위에 타워. 미녀. 깨지네. 오케이. 타워. 야 잘했다. 나이스. 우리 팀 개 던져.
Look at the relief on Dread's face.
Yeah.
Just amazing to see. As, yep, Varus did a heck of a lot of damage, but so did the Sakali, 20k in this game. And that's without kneecaps.
Yeah, it really is.
And remember what Keen could do with them. It was just insane. There was that period of time where T1 did have an advantage around that 26-minute mark, but everywhere else it was Afreeca and the war of attrition. They were able to win. Just amazing. And this is going to provide them with momentum moving into this break. And they'll be able to use that in their practice in order to come back in the second round robin stronger. So excited to see what Afreeca can do now, solidified in the top 4 position here in the LCK. And if we have 4 teams that are vying for that top spot, I am super happy.
Yeah.
I really hate like top-heavy leagues, right? Like, and we had it with T1, who was so strong last year, didn't really have any contention. They slaughtered Griffin.
NA has one team right now.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Cloud9 looks completely unparalleled.
They're in the clouds.
Yeah, they
Everyone
are.
else down there on planet Earth.
They, thankfully,
Europe
this year they are named correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europe is definitely more exciting.
Yeah, different story. But here it is. It's Dread that picks it up. I actually looked at the votes, and I thought it meant that Keen was going to get it. There are a lot of topside votes, but no, it's 3 tops and there's 5 jungles. I just missed the analyst vote on the right. So congratulations to Dread. I think it was him and Keen this game, but they looked, both of them, very, very powerful. And despite not farming at all in the early game, really, Dread was able to do exactly what he needed to and be in the right places at the right time, saving Mystic here with the flash safeguard. Full trust in his 80 carry.
Yeah.
Just great to see. And the play on the top side for that first blood was actually really sick, with the safeguard to make sure that he had a point-blank Sonic Wave to pair with that resonating strike. Just really, really cute stuff from Dread. And back-to-back player of the games for the first time this season is a really good sign for this player.
Yeah, it is.
Because honestly, Dread hadn't turned up this year. Like, he just hadn't. And so Spirit, he carried the Kesper Cup and has been carrying so far in the LCK. So now able to pivot over to Dread, who does have that mechanical skill, And it looked like they were on the same page in this series as well. So we're going to check out the standings. And as you can see now,
DRX
pulling away. 2 games in front of Dam 1 is Afreeca with their positive scoreline. And DragonX now in second.
So doesn't
I don't know
T1
why.
have the head-to-head?
Yeah, they do. So DragonX should technically be third. Maybe we're calling it based on the amount of wins in a row because we have listed that here.
Yeah, I see that that's going on. But I do believe that if it was as it currently stands, DragonX would be third.
Well, I mean, right now you can see that there are 2s there, so they're actually tied. So we're not actually going to break them up yet.
Yeah.
We're just going to say that they're in the same position. But Gen G, what we need to harp on about is the fact that they have now solidified first place, and it has everything to do with Hanwha stealing that match over T1.
Yeah, and I mean, here it comes, match 45. This is going to be the last match of round number 1 before the
one
LCK.
You've all been waiting for, the rematch of the 2018 Summer Final, Griffin versus KT for all the marbles. It's a bottom of the table clash, actually, but still, exciting to see Yukal up against a former team that he was on, now representing the other side of the matchup that he was able to help lift score through. I'm just providing you with some story points for tomorrow when you and Valdez take on this hectic series. But that is going to do it for us. It's going to do it for me for quite a while as well. As we'll be back. I'll be back, sorry, after the hiatus. This guy will be back for tomorrow's matches, and I'll be watching with you. See you then.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone.